My fellow Fox News primetime host, Tammy Bruce, is here. Tammy, this is a terrible subject to be talking about on an Independence Day weekend. It should surely shame. I don't want to be political about it, but these cities have been Democrat cities now for 90 years. Nobody remembers what it was like when there was anything other but a one-party state running these appalling cities.
Yes, and I think it's perfectly appropriate to talk about politics on the day and the few days surrounding the origination of this country, which was an extremely political act, obviously. And this is about our keeping in mind what the founders wanted and representing them, which means believing that every single American, no matter what city they live in, deserves to be able to have a future, which was what the entire revolution was about, was determining our own futures. And now what we've got is a political system driven by Democrats that have denied that future to children, to babies, to young people, effectively because they've been corralled into the urban areas and are controlled by a single party. That is the antithesis of what the revolution wanted and was meant for, what the founders wanted. And may I say, for Teo and for everyone else who is an anti-violence entrepreneur, someone who can move into those cities and understands their communities, the fact is government and politicians like Lori Lightfoot now rely on fear. This is about, yes, violence is a factor of that, but violence creates a fear that keeps people in retreat, and it suits them. And you know this, Mark. When she blames racism and sexism, when it's all about her, when it's about those people who are suffering every single day in that great American city, and shame on her and everyone in the Democrat Party who's facilitating this.
I don't know how the families of those two little girls fighting for their lives in hospitals aren't entirely sick and insulted by her reaching for those lamest of lame tropes. You know, the left talk about otherizing all the time. Otherizing. Ooh, you're otherizing Muslims. I'm otherizing transgenders. But there's nothing more basic in terms of otherizing than being so desensitized to your fellow humanity that you open fire and you don't care whether you kill kids. I mean, that's once you're at that stage, how do these guys, it's nothing political, how do you get pulled back from that?
But see, that's exactly the nature of what happens when there are no repercussions. When you've got, and it's not even a passivity, it is a decision to sit back and allow it. And when you receive, even subconsciously, the message that this is not, no one's going to care, no one's going to come and stop me, that laws really do send a signal about what's appropriate in a community. And if you want racism and sexism for Lori Lightfoot, whom I, God forbid, thought she ran as a reformer, I thought she might be the person to do this. And as a gay woman on top of it, to be in this position where this city is a river of blood and all she can do is talk about otherizing, refuse interviews with white reporters. As she goes home to her white partner, she creates this as a race framework. When you're dead, the color of your skin is meaningless. Your children are your children, your constituents, citizens. All of this has got to stop. But it's people like Lori Lightfoot and the Democratic Party who have a macabre, ghoulish interest in fear, and violence is a mechanism of that.
Thank you for that, Tammy, and you're quite right about that disgraceful mayor. Happy post-Independence Day to you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.